Natalo ka?
That professional video that you just watched was generated entirely with AI. And not just only a random AI. It was created using one of the most powerful AI filmmaking platform available online, Higgsfield AI. And in this video, I'm not only going to show you how spectacular AI filmmaking can look, I will teach you how to create one. From building a story, generating a consistent character look and locations, bringing those images to life and the camera movements and emotions, and finally, turning everything into a complete cinematic film. And the best part, you can do this yourself even you're not a professional filmmaker. But before we jump into Higgsfield and create our video, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to like and share this video. And of course, if you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing. Now let's get into it. Alright, so before we generate anything, let me quickly show you the process or the workflow that we're going to follow. We're going to break the entire process into 4 main stages. First is we will build our story. Second, we will generate our character sheet and our location. And third, we will turn those assets into cinematic scenes. And finally, we will put everything together to a one complete cinematic film. So let's start with the most important part, the story. Because if you don't have a story or you don't have something in mind, what would you do in Higgsfield? So any AI, before they can work and generate anything, they need a brain. And that is you. And you know what? Instead of trying to come up with every details ourselves, we will use Claude to help us structure our story. And that's one thing that I like with Higgsfield because it's like a one-stop tool. Like every tools is actually available in Higgsfield. And that's one thing that makes Higgsfield a very useful platform. You can generate using the latest Sedan's 2.5 AI model, so you can have a very professional and cinematic scenes, and you have all this images model and all that stuff. So if you look at it, like everything is here. You don't need to go out just to use another tools. Everything is here. Let me just show you some. This is the image tab. Look at how many tools that you can use in here, right? This is the video tab. See, we have the latest Sedan's 2.5, Sedan's 2.0, 4K, Gemini, OmniFlash, King Motion. Everything is in here. Then you can have the audio, editing layers, and one of the best thing in Higgsfield is this tab, Cinema Studio. We are going to use this one later on. And if you ask me how to connect Claude and Higgsfields, that is pretty easy using the MCP and CIL features of Higgsfields. Click the tab. This is the Higgsfield MCP for any AI. So we have here the Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, Claude Code, OpenClaw, Hermes, and everything else. There's a bunch of AI tools that you can actually connect with Higgsfield that you don't need to go out and work on different platforms one from another. That hassle was less in Higgsfield. Since we're going to use Claude, we're going to connect it, and let me just show you how to connect Claude. So here, this is the step instructions on how to connect it. All you have to do is to copy the Higgsfield connector URL. You copy this one, then of course you go to Claude and start creating it. So let's go to Claude, and in this case, we already actually connected our Claude. So let me just show you how. So let's go to the left bottom corner of your screen where your username was. Then just click this down arrow, look for the settings, then click settings. Then since we already connected ours, so we have a bunch of tabs here, just go down the bottom and see connectors, click connectors, then here, we already connected our Higgsfield. Alright, so but how to connect it if you're just new? Then just click the add drop down arrow on the right top corner of your screen. Just click the one, then add custom connector. Once you click the add custom connector, just enter your Higgsfield account. Just enter. Once you click the add custom connector, all you have to do is to input the URL that you copied earlier in Higgsfield, this one. Okay, so you just input that one here, then connect. Then it will start to verify using code. So all you have to do is open your email, get the code, then verify it. Then when it's connected, this is what it's going to show. All right, so Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to connect every tools that you have here. All right, so let's move on and let's start generating our clips. So first we need to go to Cinema Studio. This is where we're going to start. And since I'm going to show you how we created the video that you just watched early in this video or at the beginning of this video, the idea of our film is very simple. It's just a basketball player who was failed during the biggest moment or the biggest game of his life. But at the end of the story, he gets a small reminder why he even started in the first place. Well, that's just a very simple idea that turned into cinematic video that you just have watched. So now, let's start creating it. So let's go to Claude. So this is what we're going to do first. We're going to ask Claude to write us a prompt using our idea. Okay, so let's type in here to write a script for a short film. Yeah, for a short film about a basketballer who failed to score a goal in the biggest match of his life. And now he's sitting in his... And by the way guys, this video is actually sponsored by Higgsfield. So if you want to try Higgsfield for free and generate unlimited cinematic visuals, just use the link below in the description to support this channel through it. Then we'll give more context. The hero we're talking about him is 27-year-old. He's max in resolution. So we're going to use the same setup where movies, films are actually structured, like setup, rising action, climax, and resolution. And that is very important because we want the film to have its actual flow like a movie scene or a film. Let's just keep this idea, then let's hit enter. So with the small idea that we have, just giving a hint of what we are trying to do, Claude will give us a detailed prompt on how to do it. And that exact prompt, we're going to use that one in Higgsfield later on. Now, let's just copy this one and save it. So after we've got our story, then we will now move on to the next stage, which is we will generate screen sheet for our character, our main character, which is Mario and his grandmother. So I think we only have two characters on the first scene. So we'll just generate first all of them. I hope you can just see the idea why we're using Claude to Higgsfield instead of just typing it to Higgsfield. Here's the thing, Claude is actually great for developing story, script, scenes and dialogue, and detailed visual prompts. And once the created plan is ready, we will bring those prompts to Higgsfield to generate the actual AI images and video. It's like Claude is the brain and story, and then Higgsfield is the visuals and audio. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, what we are doing here right now is we're putting our idea to Claude, and Claude will generate a very detailed prompt. And since we are connected to Higgsfield, Claude will write it where Higgsfield actually recognize it. And even our characters, Claude will position that one where Higgsfield can easily recognize that that is our character. It's not like any other AI tools that you need to upload those assets, images, and videos in the prompt so that it will analyze it and include it on the prompt. Higgsfield will actually automatically recognize or pull that assets into our prompt by just typing the name and putting an at the beginning. So that's one thing I like. And Claude will automatically put that name where Higgsfield can automatically detect it. Since we're on the second stage where we generate our assets, especially our main character images, we need to remember this. Every time we generate our images, for example, especially when it's the screenshot of our main character, we need to make sure that the image is realistic, no blur, no glare, and has a good lighting. So for example, this image, the other side of the face has actually a deep dark shadow, generate a cinematic and realistic which AI would struggle to generate a very realistic and cinematic output out of this image. So we're going to choose this one. We create a new element, and if we generate a screenshot for our character, we need to generate more options for us to be able to choose from what is the best for our film or for our video. So we choose this one. It has a very realistic skin. It's not plastic. It's not AI look image. And the best thing about Higgsfield is that it uses the latest Sedan's 2.5 AI model, which generate a very realistic and cinematic scene. And that's the reason why we also need to have a good assets for that one in order for it to generate the best results that we want. So now, since this one is good, so we create a new element and we will name it Mario. Once we create this element, it automatically save on our assets, and that assets will stay there unless you delete it. And every time we mention or we tag that name, Higgsfield will automatically pull that into our prompt. So you don't need to upload over and over again your assets. If you're not satisfied with the result or you're not satisfied with your image, you can just tweak it on Claude and specify what are the things that you need to change or what are the things that you need to add or to exclude in the prompt. Once done that, then all you need to do is to copy it again and paste it on Higgsfield. And you will do the same process with all the characters. And of course, if you are really very keen to details, then you need to do the same process over and over again and tweak it again until you find the best result. And once you generated the best results, and that's the time you're going to add it on assets by creating new elements. Since we're done with our main character, so we'll generate the other character, which is the grandmother, the same process. Then afterwards, we generate the location. Now, it is very important that we need to generate or provide the exact locations that we want. So the same process with our character, we're going to ask Claude to write us a prompt with full details of our location. Then we will generate it on Higgsfield. Of course, generate more options so that you can choose from it, and make sure that you choose the best and high definition results for us to be able to get the result or the cinematic result that we want in our film. So now we're done with generating all the assets for the scene 1. I'm not going to have it all in this video to generating all those assets and all the scenes. So in this video, you will only just see the first scene of our short film. So if you want to see the full short film that we created, just click the subscribe button for you to get updated on our next videos. And of course, what I focus on this video is the workflow on how to do it on Higgsfield. So we're done with all the assets. Now let's go to the next stage. This is we will generate the scenes. And by doing that, since we already saved our elements or our assets, then we will now go back to Claude and ask Claude to write us the first scene. Write me a cinematic video prompt using the filmmaking skill. Before I forget, we actually embedded a file or a filmmaking skill file on our Claude for generating this prompt, because that skill would help Claude to generate more cinematic, more realistic with camera angles, audio, and of course, the vibes of the film we're making is actually accurate from location, the language, the character, and the culture. So that's actually a very amazing skill, should I say. If you want that file, just comment Higgsfield below so I can send you that file. Now we're going to finish our prompt for the first scene. I want the scene to consist of 2 shots. Shot 1 starts from behind the grandmother as she sits on the edge of the bed. The camera slowly pushes toward her as she asks Mario a question from the script. Immediately after she asks the question, cut to close up of Mario. Show him remembering the moment and experiencing inner pain through his facial expression and subtle emotion. Then have him slowly close his eyes. Use realistic, natural body movement, cinematic camera language, emotional pacing, and consistent appearance. And then hit enter. Now, Claude generated us the full prompt for our first scene. All we have to do is to copy that one and paste it on Higgsfield. Let's do that. For this generation, we use the Sedan's 2.5, the latest AI model that we have in Higgsfield. And I think Higgsfield is the first one who got this inside its platform. And it's really amazing to have this option. And also, we set this one to 16 by 9 and then 1080p. You can choose 1080p or higher resolution, and then just set this to 5 seconds to 15 seconds. Then hit generate. And as you can see, there are highlighted green on our prompt, and those are the elements that we save, and it automatically pulls in the assets that we have, our main character, location, and supporting character that we have. So we just click this one because we need to confirm the eligibility of this asset. So that's fine. It's not a problem as long as your assets is actually following the guidelines of Higgsfield. Then now let's hit enter. So we'll just wait for the result. We can generate more to have more options. You know, we can choose from the best result. Then we will do that one in all the scenes. So it's it's the same process, you know, it's the same process. We'll ask Claude to generate the full detailed prompt, then we'll paste it on Higgsfield, and if we're not satisfied with the result, we'll just tweak it on Claude to generate or revise the prompt. We will indicate our specifics, the changes that we need, or the things that we want to exclude in the screen. So all that one, then paste it back to Higgsfield and generate again. The last stage is actually combining all these scenes that we made. So before we can do that, of course, we need to create new element for those scenes that we actually like or satisfied on. So we just save those as a new element. Then afterwards, we will go back to Claude and generate the full short film using those names from the elements. Just indicate this is the main character, this is the location, this is the first scene, which is the name of the first scene element that we made, and this is the second scene, and combine all these assets to make a short film. And what I love about Higgsfield can easily recognize the element. It automatically pulls it in and combines all the scenes into one cinematic short film. And that is only available in Higgsfield. So if you want to try Higgsfield for free and want to generate unlimited visuals from Higgsfield, just click the link below to try it. Like I said earlier, if you want to watch the full short film, just click the subscribe button for you to be updated on our new videos. Again, this is Kuya R, and I hope you learned something from this video. And if you do, please don't forget to like and share this video, and see you on the next one.